It's your Lifewave host, Vanessa Borge.
How's everybody feeling? All right, we are happy, we are fed, we are energetic, we're ready to go for our next session, right? Well, that was an incredible tease for what you are going to experience tonight. As you know, Code of Creation has been a long time coming. Its genesis dates back to the summer of 2023. Can you believe that we are finally here? We're about to have an intimate private screening tonight for just a mere 10,000 of you. That's all. We're going to hear more in this session from David and Jim on this amazing documentary and exclusive screening tonight. I think they're even going to reveal who the surprise multi-Grammy award-winning musical guest is going to be, so you do not want to miss that. But first, let's kick off the afternoon with one of the best parts of this event, recognition. If you are a new director still seated in the arena, please follow our ushers to join the on-stage parade happening in just a few minutes. And if you're a new senior director, you should also be ready to head to the recognition area to line up. I know many of you will be excited to celebrate your team members, and we want you to get loud and show your enthusiasm. But please stay seated unless you're being recognized. Recognition photos will be included in the shared photo albums online. Just scan this QR code to access all the conference photos. And joining us now to celebrate all of you, Mario Leiva, Country Manager Mexico, Alexander Noel, EMEA Business Development Director, and Scarlett Sue, Country Manager Taiwan, and all of our incredible sales managers here around the world.
Hi, everyone. As Vanessa mentioned, one of our favorite moments at the global conference is to have the opportunity to celebrate the achievement of all our brand partners since the last year we were here together. It's a real privilege to have the opportunity to celebrate that you are sharing the light, that you are growing your business, and that you are supporting a lot of communities all over the globe. So let's start with our very first step into the compensation plan. That's our rank of manager. And please, if you're a brand partner who achieved the rank of manager between September the 16th, 2024 and September the 14th, 2025, this is the moment for you. Please stand up so we can see you, and we're gonna be giving you a big round of applause. Woo! Oh my God, look around. What an amazing group of leaders we have here. Wow. Congratulations to all our new managers.
Whoa, 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 this is impressive, guys. So many new managers for this year. And you know, yesterday we had the possibility to make a breakout session. And we were talking about onboarding, duplication, and the key in our industry is really to develop a network and then to duplicate an approach. So manager is indeed a really important step in our business model. But following that, when we are duplicating, we create new title. Help me, guys. What is the next title after manager? I didn't get it. What is the next title? So, ladies and gentlemen, with my colleagues, we are really pleased and excited to welcome on stage our new director for Lifewave. Please help us to make a huge applause.
Thank you.
Bravo, guys. Bravo. Congratulations. Congratulations.
together, let's celebrate our newest senior director since that's the conference. Becoming a senior director is a powerful accomplishment as it shows not only the strong leadership, but also the team spirit that you are building and the life you are impacting. Ladies and gentlemen, please prepare your camera. Let's get loud and celebrate our newest senior director as they cross the stage. to celebrating even more rank advancement tomorrow.
No, that was fantastic. And remember, if you're a new senior director, your awards are going to be recognized, are going to be available at the Hall C at the Experience Center. So don't forget to pick up your award there tomorrow by 1:30, because we will love, so you can go stage tomorrow on the recognition segment with your award. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, guys.
See you soon.
Thank you for all of you. Bye.
Not you, but I feel good, right? How's everybody feeling? What an inspiration to see hundreds of brand partners celebrate their new rank advancements. Just like all of you climbing the ranks towards your goals, our next speaker has made a notable climb or two in her lifetime. It's an honor to introduce this woman. Just listen to her bio. Allison Levine is no stranger to punishing environments. She has survived sub-zero temperatures, hurricane-force winds, sudden avalanches, and worst of all, a career on Wall Street. Allison has climbed the highest peak on every continent, served as the team captain of the first American women's Everest expedition, and skied across the Arctic Circle to the geographic North Pole. In January 2008, she made history as the first American to follow a remote route across West Antarctica for 600 miles to the South Pole. She completed this arduous journey on skis while hauling 150 pounds of her gear and supplies in a sled harnessed to her waist. That's not all. Listen to this. Her success in extreme environments is noteworthy given she had 3 heart surgeries and also suffers from a neurological disease that causes the arteries that feed her fingers and toes to collapse in cold weather, leaving her at extreme risk for frostbite. Allison spent 4 years as an adjunct professor at the United States Military Academy at West Point, where she focused on the topic of leading teams in extreme environments. She is the author of the New York Times bestseller On the Edge, which is a compilation of lessons she learned during her various expeditions, and she's here today to share some of those lessons with all of you. Is that not an incredible biography? Please welcome Allison Levine. Wow, you guys, wow.
Hello. Wow, that's quite a greeting. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here with all of you today. You heard a little bit about some of my outdoor adventures, of course, and you know I'm also an author. My book's called On the Edge. My favorite Amazon review said, all the suspense of Into Thin Air, but without the depression. And that's actually a photograph of me on the cover. People think it's an illustration, but it's a photo of me climbing Denali in Alaska, which is the highest peak in North America. And, oh, thanks. People ask me for advice on this mountain all the time. They'll say, Denali, it's really cold and steep. Give me some advice. So I just say, stay left. Now, I know all of you are climbing your own mountains, so what I thought I'd do in the time we have together is share with you some of my favorite lessons from the book, focusing on the American Women's Everest Expedition, because this is a climb where I think I learned more great lessons about tackling challenge, overcoming obstacles, and achieving big goals in times of uncertainty. I learned more about those things on this trip than I learned on probably any other trip that I'd been on. So this is a climb that took place in 2002. In 2001, I got a phone call asking me if I wanted to serve as the team captain for the trip. And initially, when I got that phone call, I said no. Just because even though I had climbed the highest peak on 6 continents and had done a lot of other climbing in between, I still really felt like, I don't know, I wasn't going to be good enough, I wasn't going to be fast enough, I wasn't going to be strong enough. It just felt like way more challenge than I was ready to take on at the time. But then I realized there was only going to be one first American women's Everest expedition, and if I didn't step up to the plate to be the team captain, somebody else was going to do it. Somebody else was going to be living my dream adventure. So I ended up calling his women back and agreeing to serve as the team captain. And at the time, I still really didn't know if I had what it was going to take to get up that mountain. But I knew if I didn't step up to the plate and try, that I would never find out. And I think there are times in your life where you just have to step up, even if you feel like you aren't ready. And I ran across this quote when I was contemplating the whole thing. It's a quote by the first woman who ever climbed Mount Everest, and our friends here from Japan will recognize her name, Junko Taibei. And she reminds us that when it comes to getting to the top, it is not just about technique and ability, it is also very much about willpower, right? So I knew for sure that I had willpower, but one thing I knew for sure that I didn't have was money. I was about $70,000 in debt thanks to all my student loans, and no one else I knew who was a climber had any money. So we had to go out and raise the funds for this trip. And I ended up connecting with a friend of mine who worked for Ford. Just because I didn't know you guys yet, I would have hit you up for some money for sure. 100% I would have. But my friend Kevin, who worked for Ford, he helped us funnel the idea of the first American women's Everest expedition up to the senior Ford executives in Michigan. They looked at our proposal, and they actually agreed to fund the entire trip. Right? I know, so grateful. Well, and the reason that Ford agreed to fund us was because our expedition just happened to coincide with the launch of their new full-size SUV, which is, of course, the Ford. Yes, the Ford Expedition. So it was their expedition in conjunction with our expedition, and it was this match made in heaven. And I was so relieved that things worked out well with Ford, just because I was also negotiating with Chevy at the time. And their full-size SUV is the Avalanche. So, call me crazy, but I'm just thinking if you're going to go to Everest, you want to be sponsored by the expedition, not by the Avalanche. So it worked out pretty well. Next thing I had to do is pull together the team. And this is an interesting process because you have to find people who are the perfect mix of skill and experience, but who are also going to be really, really strong team players. So this is our team. Kim Clark on the far left, that's me next to Kim. Jody Thompson in the middle, then you have Midge Cross and Lynn Preble. And I can honestly say if I had to pull together another team of women, it would be the exact same ones. Oh, that's us at the New York Auto Show. Ford took us out there right before we left for Nepal. They took us out there to unveil the new 2003 Ford Expedition. It's the only full-size SUV with independent rear suspension and optional third-row power-fold seats. Gotta plug the sponsor. All right, so I had the team, I had the funding, I got a 2-month unpaid leave of absence from work, and all of a sudden I am thinking, holy crap, we're really going. And then it hit me, and the thought of going from sea level to 29,000 feet above sea level absolutely made my head spin, because the process of climbing this mountain is not at all straightforward. It's going to take you 10 days of hiking just to get yourself to base camp. Once you get to base camp, you have to spend a few days and nights there to get used to the altitude, because it's over 17,000 feet, right, about 5,300 meters. So once you've been there for a few days, then you pack up your stuff and you climb up to Camp 1. You spend the night up there at Camp 1, and the next day after you spend the night up there, you pack up your stuff, and you come back down to base camp again. Spend a few more nights at base camp again. Next day, climb to camp 1 again and spend the night. And then the next day, you climb up here to camp 2. And you spend the night up there at camp 2. And the next day, after you spend the night up there, you pack up your stuff and you come back down to that base camp again. Spend a few more nights at base camp again. Next day, climb to camp 1 again, spend the night. Next day, climb to camp 2 again, spend the night. Then the next day, you're gonna spend about 9 or 10 hours fighting your way up there to camp 3. It's almost 24,000 feet above sea level, 7,200 meters. And the next day, guess where you go? Yes, all the way back down to base camp again. So the reason you have to keep coming back down to base camp is because you have to let your body get used to the altitude very slowly. It's this process called acclimatization. If someone were to magically drop you off on the summit of Mount Everest, if you could be dropped up there by a plane or a helicopter, something like that, you would be dead in a matter of minutes from the altitude. So you have to move up this mountain really slowly just so your head doesn't pop off when you get to the very top. I mean, it doesn't really just, pop off. But the catch is that anytime you're above about 18,000 feet, about 5,300 meters, anytime you're above that elevation, your body is starting to deteriorate and your muscles are getting weaker. So it's this crazy catch-22 of wanting to spend time up high to get used to the altitude, but you have to keep coming back down low so you can eat, sleep, hydrate, and regain some strength. So not only is it very physically challenging to be going up and back down again, and up higher and back down, but psychologically, it is incredibly frustrating as well, because you know you need to be going this way, right? But you're spending a heck of a lot of time climbing in this direction. But what you have to remember is that even though you are going completely backwards, you're still making progress, right? Because you're helping your body acclimatize. You are, and you are making progress. And for whatever reason, we tend to think that progress has to happen in one particular direction. But that's not the case. Sometimes you are going to have to go backward for a bit in order to eventually get to where you want to be. So do not look at that backtracking as losing ground. Look at it as an opportunity to regroup, regain some strength, so you're better out of the gates the next time around. Backing up is not the same as backing down. That's one of my best lines, by the way. So, yeah. Thanks. Thank you. If you're going to write down anything from this presentation, I would go with that. I think that's the best one. This is a shot of base camp on Mount Everest. Did anyone here see the movie Vertical Limit? Okay, well, it's nothing like that. No keg parties or bonfires or s'mores, just a bunch of rocks and some tents. Now, the first part of the route, once you leave base camp, has a lot going on, and that's this area here called the Khumbu Icefall. This is one of the most dangerous parts of the mountain. And what makes the Khumbu Icefall so dangerous is the fact that it's made up of 2,000 vertical feet of these big, huge, moving ice chunks. These ice blocks are massive. They are the size of small buildings. And what happens is the sun comes up, everything starts to melt. These big, huge ice blocks start to shift around, so you're in constant danger of being crushed. right? That's 7 ladders strung together at about 20,000 feet of elevation. And then it's made more complicated by the fact that there are these big, huge open crevasses everywhere where you could fall hundreds of feet to your death. So they span these rickety aluminum ladders across them so you can get from one side to the other without falling in. So between the big, huge moving ice chunks and the ladders and the open crevasses, it is a very scary part of the mountain. But this Khumbu Icefall is also where I learned some great lessons about fear. And I've got about 30 seconds of video to show you what it's like to go through that icefall. Here you go. Thanks. Thank you so much. So you get the idea. Definitely a very scary part of the climb. But this icefall is also where I learned one of the best lessons about managing fear, which is this. All right, listen. Fear is okay. It's just a normal human emotion. Complacency is what will kill you. You have to be able to act and react quickly when you're in these environments that are constantly shifting and changing. And I don't think any of us have seen as much shifting and changing in the world as what we've seen over the past few years. And we know it's not slowing down anytime soon. So fear is fine. Complacency will absolutely do you in. And here's what I want you to remember. You can be scared and brave at the same time. You can. You can be scared and brave at the same time. These are, oh, thanks. Yeah, you can clap for that. Thanks. Okay, maybe that's one of my best lines. I don't know. These are the boots that we wear once we leave base camp. They cost about $950. But if you break that down, it's only $95 a toe. Yeah, so if you want to keep all of yours, you suck it up and buy these boots. Camp 1 on the other side of the icefall, not a lot going on there. Here's the team at Camp 2, bringing sexy back. I'm 5'4", tallest person out of all of us. We were so short, we had to have these down suits custom made. But we liked them because we thought they were kind of flattering. And I know one question people always have when they see these pictures. They always have this question, and no one ever wants to ask it, but I know people are wondering. And it's, of course, that question of, how do you go to the bathroom up there? And let me tell you, as a woman, it is super complicated because you've got on this big, huge, bulky down suit over 6 layers of clothing, and it's a gazillion degrees below zero, and there's hurricane force winds, and you're, wearing a safety harness strapped into this line. Like, trying to get out of, your down suit, all your layers, squat, balance, it's very, very difficult. And it's also actually a little dangerous. So we came up with a solution to that, which I will demonstrate. No, I'm not gonna demonstrate. I'm just gonna show you what it is, because I know people wonder. Okay, this is just what we call the pee funnel. And this little device allows women to urinate standing up. There you go. So we don't have to go through that whole balancing act anymore. And we can finally do that one thing that we have always been envious of men for. You know what it is? We can write our name in the snow. There you have it. Now you know. Now you know. All right, moving right along. Okay, here's our team getting ready to head up to Camp 3. One of the toughest days on the mountain, just a long slog on hard, steep blue ice. Takes about 9 or 10 hours to get there. This is a shot of me pulling into Camp 3. This was a particularly memorable moment for me because I puked all over myself right before they took that shot, so that is a totally fake smile. It is. But for me, this is a reminder that even when you're incredibly uncomfortable, you still have to get out there and keep moving, right? Doing hard stuff is uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable, it's hard. And the closer you get to the top of the mountain, the more uncomfortable you feel, right? Because you're gaining elevation and you get altitude sickness. You have a banging altitude headache. You feel sick to your stomach. But you can keep going even when you feel uncomfortable. So that's 24,000 feet on the side of a mountain, about 7,200 meters. Everybody feels super crappy at that elevation. But you don't turn around and quit. You get back out there, you get back out there on the mountain, you keep climbing, and you do it for your team. Okay, Mount Everest is a really, 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 really bad place for control freaks. There are all these things that are going to affect your climb that you have zero control over. The weather is the most obvious of those things, of course. So sometimes you look up at the summit of Mount Everest and it looks like this, and it looks like it might be pretty approachable. But within a matter of minutes, everything can change and it will look like that. And that is pretty darn intimidating. But the one thing you know about these storms is that they're always temporary. Storms are always temporary. There is no such thing as the storm that lasts forever. So you know when you're in the middle of something like this, you just have to keep your bearings, and at some point, clouds are going to go away. Everything will look a whole lot better. But the key to surviving this is that you have to be able to take action based on the situation at the time and not based on your plan. Because while planning's really important, of course you're going to have a solid plan. Keeps you organized, keeps you motivated, keeps you on track. But what you have to remember is that when you're in these very dynamic environments where things are constantly shifting and changing, whatever plan you came up with last year, last month, last week, even this morning, your plan is already outdated. Your plan's outdated as soon as it's finished, when you're in these environments that are constantly shifting and changing. So yes, of course, plan, but you can't be hell-bent on sticking to that plan no matter what. You want to be much more focused on executing based on what is going on at the time. Here is a shot of our team heading up to the high camp. This is me at the high camp. You are more than welcome to borrow this picture and tell people it's you. Nobody will ever know. Meredith's looking good up there, isn't she? All right, so the high camp, it's at 26,000 feet, 8,000 meters, also known as the death zone. And they call it the death zone for a really good reason, and that's because at that elevation, human life can no longer be sustained, and your body is slowly starting to die. At this elevation, you have to take about 5 to 10 breaths for every step. That's how many breaths you have to take just to catch your breath enough to take one step. So it looks kind of like this. You take a step, and then you do this. 5 to 10 times before you feel ready to do this. Step again, 5 to 10 breaths again before you can do this. Okay, so if you ever think you're having a slow day, it could be so much worse. Okay, so get up to the high camp in the afternoon. We lay down for a couple of hours to rest our bones and our muscles, and at 10:30 at night, we get out of our tent to start heading to the summit. So 10:30, pitch dark, freezing cold. You wear a headlamp on your forehead so you can see down the trail. And I got out of my tent, and I'm thinking, okay, we're at 26,000 feet, but we need to be at 29,035 feet to be at the summit. Okay, that's more than 3,000 vertical feet alone we need to cover, not to mention all the horizontal distance. And I start doing the math. 1 step, 5 to 10 breaths, 3,000 vertical feet. I start to get completely freaked out and intimidated, thinking, there's just no way. I'm not going to be fast enough. I'm not going to be strong enough. So the only way I could really wrap my brain around what we had to do and feel like it was realistic is by breaking that summit day down into much smaller parts. So for the time being, I stopped stressing out about the summit. I took my headlamp and I shined it on this big rock that I could see down the trail. And I thought, okay, I just need to make it to that rock. That's where I'm going right now, just to that rock. So I take my step, 5 to 10 breaths. Step again, 5 to 10 breaths. Before I knew it, made it to that big rock. Once I got to that rock, I did the same thing again. Took my headlamp, shined it on a big chunk of ice. Just anything I could stare at that looked like it wasn't that far away. Okay, I am just going to that big chunk of ice. I can make it there. So step, 5 to 10 breaths. Then I'd make it to the big chunk of ice. So every time I would think to myself, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. I don't think I'm going to be fast enough. I would think, well, hang on, because I did make it to this landmark, so since I made it to this one, maybe I can make it to one more. All right, now that I made it to this one, maybe I could make it to just one more. And I'm taking whoever that was climbing with me next time. Whoever just yelled, you're coming with me. Yes, I love you, thank you. All right, so we climbed through the whole entire night that way. The whole entire night that way. By 6:30 in the morning, we were at a place called the South Summit, which is just a couple hundred feet below the true summit of Mount Everest. And at that point, storm clouds started to come in. So that's where we had to make a very tough call. And the first American women's Everest expedition turned around just a few hundred feet, about 70 meters, from the summit of Mount Everest. Trust me when I tell you that turning around and walking away from the deal is harder than continuing on. But when you're up there in these mountains, you have to be able to make very tough decisions when the conditions around you are far from perfect. And you have to think about how every single move you make is going to affect everybody else around you and not just you. So it doesn't matter how much blood, sweat, and tears you personally put into something. If the conditions aren't right, you turn around, you cut your losses, and you walk away. You do. Sometimes you gotta walk away. Look, Mount Everest, it's just a pile of rock and ice. It's really all it is. You can always go back. But if you do something dumb up there, you may not have the opportunity to go back. And we all know of instances where one person's poor judgment has brought down an entire organization, right? Same thing in the mountains. One person's bad decision can bring down an entire team. And look at all the sad faces. Just so you know, that distance is just about 270 feet, but that would take us several hours, right? No, I know. I feel like you're looking at me and you're looking at this and you're like, You should have just run and touched the tippy top. Run back down. You can't run up there. You're taking 10 breaths for every step. So that's where we turned around. Good thing we did. Got caught in a whiteout on our descent. We had to spend the night at 26,000 feet in a storm. Not where you want to spend the night. You want to get down to a lower, safer elevation. But we couldn't see well enough to make that happen. So we spent a pretty scary night just trying to not get blown off the mountain. And we did get a bit of a break in the weather the next day. We were able to start heading back down to base camp. And yes, it's disappointing to spend 2 months on that mountain, because that's how long an Everest expedition takes, 2 months. And you miss it by what feels like that much. But you only have enough gear, supplies, and oxygen to go for it one time. Once you've burned through most of your oxygen supply, the way we did, getting that close, you don't have enough left to try it again. So you spend your 2 months on the mountain, you make it to the top or you don't, you head back down, and that's the way it goes. But I think as long as, I don't know, you come back alive, come back with all your fingers and toes, consider that a pretty good trip. Thanks, I'm happy to be here with you today. So we started to come back down the mountain, and it's really easy to think when you're coming downhill that there's no more risk. Because when you're coming downhill, everything feels easier. It's sunnier, it's warmer, the terrain's easier, everything just feels a lot more calm. But what you have to remember is that when you are in these unpredictable environments, even when things feel calm, there's still risk. And the climb is not over until you walk in the front door of your house. So the Khumbu Icefall, that area with all the big, huge moving ice chunks and the ladders, we'd gone through that thing 7 times, no problems. 8th time, completely different story. My teammate Jody and I were out in front, and the rest of the team just a few minutes behind us. All of a sudden, we hear this sound like a big moving freight train or something. We turn around only to see 10,000 tons of ice coming down in this huge ice avalanche, and we thought for sure we were going to be crushed. So we were trying to figure out how to get out of the way. But you can't run in that ice fall, right? Because of all the ladders and the crevasses you have to cross really slowly and carefully. You can't run out of the way. So we are completely panicking. And there was this video guy there from National Geographic, and he saw us freaking out. So he yelled to us. He just yelled, "Whoa, whoa, 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 don't move, stay where you are, stay right where you are." Jody and I grab each other. We're shaking, crying, hyperventilating. That whole ice avalanche came to a stop about 5 feet from us. That's how close we were to getting killed. It was really scary. Like, clean up on aisle 4. Kind of scary. So we're completely freaking out, and I look over the video guy and I said, "Oh my God, how did you stay so calm?" And I will never forget this because he looked me in the eye and replied, "I knew it was going to be okay." And I'm thinking, how the hell could he have known that? Right? He was right there in the ice fall with us, and he almost got crushed as well. And about a month later, I was laughing my head off because I read this article he wrote about the day the Khumbu Icefall collapsed, and I just thought it was kind of funny the way he described the whole sequence of events, because he wrote, "Jody and Allison panicked and looked for somewhere to run, but I urged them to remain calm because I knew for sure we were all gonna die." What? So then we get back from the trip, and we have to do the post-expedition media tour because we were the first American women's Everest expedition. So we had all this media coverage before we left for Nepal. Hundreds of media outlets from all over the world followed our climb, and then we missed the top by that much. So you have to go back to all the same TV shows and talk about what happened. And it just felt like such a gut punch to have this high-profile failure where the media has you splashed all over the headlines talking about the fact that you did not make it, you did not get there, you did not achieve your goal. And I was just so tired of explaining it over and over. And I mean, no one seemed to focus on the fact that we were the first team of American women to even try something like this. It was an altitude record for every member of my team. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Yeah, everyone was just focused on the failure. So the media interviews would all go like this. I would walk in, and whoever was hosting the morning show that we were at would say, like, "Welcome back." Aww. And then I'd say, "Well, I mean, it was a pretty amazing experience." "I know, but..." And I'd say, "Well, it was an altitude record for every single member of my team here, and we just feel so fortunate that we even got a chance to go to the mountain and give it a shot." And then they would say, "Yeah, but to get that close and not make it, how does that make you feel?" "Like a loser. That's how it makes me feel." So happy to finally be done with these interviews and not have to talk about Mount Everest anymore. I just want to go back to my normal social life. So I get home, and this friend of mine invited me to this dinner party. So I show up at this dinner party, and the guy that was hosting it, when I walked in, he introduced me to the other guests. So I walk in, and the host goes, "Oh, this is my friend Allison. She just climbed Mount Everest." And then the guy sitting across the table from me said, "Oh, no way, all the way to the top?" Right, so then I have to explain again. Well, no, unfortunately, we were forced to turn around just a couple hundred feet from the top in a storm. And he said, "Oh, so you didn't climb Mount Everest?" And I was like, no. I told him the whole story about how we spent 2 months on the mountain, just had super lousy luck with the weather. I gave him that whole lecture about getting to the top is optional, getting down is mandatory. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, that quote was made famous by an incredible climber named Ed Viesturs. I love that quote. So I was like, yeah, getting down is mandatory. And he said, "Yeah, but if you weren't at the very top, then you didn't climb it. It doesn't count." So I was like, "Okay, what do you do, tough guy?" And he said, "I work for JP Morgan." So of course I said, "No way, you are the CEO of JP Morgan?" You know exactly where this is going. You know exactly where this is going. So he said, "No, I'm not the CEO. I work in fixed income trading." And I said, "Oh, well then, I guess you don't really work for JP Morgan then, do you? Because if you're not at the very top, then it doesn't count." Okay. I wish you all had been there that night. So he's like, "Oh, that's totally different. Whatever with that guy. Whatever with JP Morgan guy. We don't care about him." Then, of course, all my friends wanted the scoop. So this is Meg, one of my best friends, one of the first people I saw when I got off the mountain. She said, "Tell me everything. I want to hear all the stories." So I was telling her all about the trip, and she said, "Oh, man, so are you going back next year to try it again?" And I said, "No. Make that hell no. I am not going back next year to try it again." And she said, "Oh, okay, so then you're going the year after?" I said, "I have 0 unfinished business on that mountain. I'm not going back there." She said, "I know you. You're going to want to give that one another try." I said, "Okay, only if you go with me, because this is one of the most amazing athletes I ever met in my entire life. She grew up playing soccer, went on to become an All-American soccer player in college and captain of her soccer team. she also beat lymphoma twice in her 20s. Yeah. Amazing, right? Yeah. But as a result of her lymphoma treatment, so she had stem cell transplant, chemo, and radiation. As a result of that treatment, she had some lung damage. And because of her compromised lung function, she could no longer play soccer, which was really what she'd been most passionate about. But Meg found that even with her reduced lung capacity, she could still ride a bike pretty well. And she put so much heart and soul into cycling and became so good at it that in 2005, she was one of a handful of cyclists chosen to ride cross-country from San Diego to Washington, D.C. with Lance Armstrong. And she did not use performance-enhancing drugs. But then, go figure, she got the flu. She passed away at age 37 from the stupid flu. The regular old flu that any of us could have kicked, but because she had that lung damage, she ended up with a severe lung infection that she just wasn't able to recover from. And Meg was one of those super gregarious people that had friends all over the world. And after she died, people started doing things to honor this girl all over the world. They were doing cycling races in Japan in her honor. They were doing triathlons in Europe in her honor. They were running the New York Marathon in her honor. And I wanted to do something to honor my friend as well. And of course, the thing that I am most passionate about is climbing mountains. So I decided to go back to Mount Everest just a couple of months after losing Meg. And I engraved her name in my ice axe to make sure that she was indeed coming with me this time around. Thanks. Thank you so much. So here's a shot of us heading up over this area called the Geneva Spur on our way to the high camp in the spring of 2010. And then I get up to the high camp and go figure. In comes a storm again. And I thought, I cannot believe I am back here 8 years later in the same exact situation, right? Ready to go for the summit, in comes a storm. But of course, as we all know, we cannot control the environment, only the way we react to it. And most teams just abandon their summit attempt altogether, but I thought, hell, I'm back here after 8 years. I'm at least gonna get out of this tent and try. So I get out of my tent, managed to climb for about 2 hours or so before things started to really deteriorate. Winds picked up, started to dump snow, dumped about a foot of snow. It was in horrible condition. But after 2 hours, I saw all these other headlamps out there and I thought, yes, this is a really good sign because this means there are other people out here who feel like this mountain can be climbed in this storm. But then I realized that all of those headlamps I was looking at were pointing toward me. They were just people that started out 2 hours before I did, that were turning around and calling it quits. And we met up at this one spot on the mountain called the Triangular Face. And they said, look, we were up there a bit further. We don't feel like this mountain can be climbed in this storm, so we're pulling the plug on this whole thing. We're heading back down. We hope we are doing the right thing. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go up just a little bit further, and I hope that I'm doing the right thing. And you can see how the clouds are completely closed in. Visibility was horrible. But as I approached the south summit, I hear this voice, Allison. Hey, Allison. And at first I thought I was just hearing voices, maybe hallucinating. This isn't unusual when your brain is so oxygen starved up there in the death zone. People hear things and see visions all the time. And I thought, oh, this is just my brain playing tricks on me. But the voice gets louder, Allison. And now I'm thinking, who is up here calling my name? Well, I get to the South Summit. It was this Canadian mountain guide named Michael Horst. And he waited there for me because he knew my story, and he knew that I had turned around at that point, at the South Summit, 8 years prior. And he anticipated that I might be feeling a little bit of fear and anxiety because the visibility was so bad and I did not know what was beyond that point. And he waited there for me, and so I said, what? What do you want, Michael? And he said, I need you to make me a promise. And I'm thinking, who can ask anything of me right now? And he said, you gotta promise me that you are gonna go further than this. And it just, like having somebody there to cheer for me that I knew wanted to see me succeed. We shake hands on this promise, and I never break a promise to a friend. So here's a close-up of me on the summit ridge. It is an 8,000-foot drop to the left of me, 10,000-foot drop to the right, and I really could not see too far in front of me at all. But that's when I realized that you don't have to know what's coming at you down the trail in order to keep moving toward an important goal. You don't have to know. You just take it as it comes. And here's the thing. If you have clarity in your intent, you do not need absolute clarity in the path forward. If you wait around for absolute clarity, you may be waiting around forever, and you don't need perfect visibility to just put one foot in front of the other. So that's what I did for about another 9 hours or so, and I'm happy to report that on May 24th of 2010, thank you so much. You're unbelievable. You guys are making me cry. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Yeah. May 24th of 2010, I did make it to the summit of Mount Everest in honor of my girlfriend, Meg. So take that, JP Morgan guy. That's right. And for me, that summit was the completion of what's known as the Adventure Grand Slam, which is climbing the 7 summits. That's the highest peak on every continent. And then skiing to both the North and the South Pole. I think there's a couple dozen people in the world now who have completed the Adventure Grand Slam, but at the time, there were only a couple of us. So that photo was on the front page of the New York Times sports section. So people would see that picture and ask me, what was that like? What was it like to go back to that mountain 8 years later after everything you had been through, fight your way through the storm, and finally stand on top of the highest mountain in the world? And I can honestly tell you, it just wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't, because think about it for a second. Let's keep this in perspective, shall we? This is a pile of rock and ice. Standing on top of a pile of rock and ice doesn't change the world. You know what does change the world? Lots of other stuff. Technology, innovation, advances in healthcare and wellness. Give yourselves a hand right now. You're the ones that deserve the standing ovation. You deserve the standing ovation, you do. Because what you are doing every day when you are climbing the mountains that you are climbing is having incredible impact. You really are changing the world. And I am so honored to be standing up here on this stage in front of all of you incredible people. You guys keep climbing and keep doing what you're doing. Do not ever back down, because you're having impact. Yeah. And here's one of the biggest things I think also that can change the world. How about just sharing a few kind words of encouragement to somebody who's having a tough time? Let me tell you, being there to cheer on somebody who's struggling can completely change the outcome of a situation. I would argue could completely change somebody's life. I mean, all these things I've mentioned and many other things as well are things that really do have a lot of impact. Now, while standing up there didn't feel like this big life-changing moment for me, I'll tell you what was important about it, and it is, of course, the lessons you learn along the way when you're fighting like hell to get up there. And what you're going to do with that information to be better going forward. The only reason I made it up that day when most people turned back is because I had that failure under my belt from 2002. Because of that previous failure, I knew a heck of a lot more about my pain threshold, about my risk tolerance. I knew what it felt like to get the living snot kicked out of me high up on that summit ridge in a storm. And I wasn't afraid of that the second time around. And I think in general, we're not always really a very failure-tolerant society, which is really too bad because it's that lack of failure tolerance that stifles progress and innovation and prevents people from taking risks. Anyone that knows just a little something about the history of Mount Everest will know the names Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, right? First guys to ever summit the mountain in 1953. But guess what? Sir Edmund Hillary had 2 recon expeditions to Everest before he summited, and Tenzing Norgay had 6 failed attempts on the mountain before he summited with a successful summit on his 7th attempt. Can you imagine if he had given up after any of those initial 6 tries? But he didn't. He made it to the top and he made history. Do not ever give up after your failures, right? We just learn from them and we're better going forward. And you never know who's going to be following in your footsteps, who will go on to achieve incredible things because of your past experience, even if you didn't have the exact outcome that you wanted at the time. And the most important thing I need to tell you about that photo is that it's actually very misleading because this is photoshopped. No, just kidding, it's not. It's not photoshopped. It's not photoshopped, I promise. No, it's a real photo, I promise it's a real photo. But it is misleading because while you do see me on the summit of Mount Everest, let me tell you what you don't see. You don't see the financial sponsors that funded my trip, the logistics providers that got our permits in order, the amazing team of Sherpas who helped us ferry loads up and down the mountain. You don't see the guides that gave us direction along the way. A lot of people had a hand in that. And you may not see them in the photo there, but what you have to remember is that nobody gets to the top of this mountain by themselves. Nobody does. All right, I have one last slide for you all. It's this one here. If I had to sum up all the lessons I've learned on all the mountains I've ever been to, sum everything up into one slide, that would be it. That triangular shadow that you see, that is the shadow of the summit of Mount Everest. And we snapped that photo shortly before we started to descend during our failed summit bid in 2002. That image, that shadow, pretty much permanently ingrained in my brain because for me, this is a reminder that sometimes things are gonna go your way, sometimes things are not gonna go your way. That is part of climbing mountains, that's certainly part of your business, it's just part of life. But you have to be willing to get out there and push yourself on these peaks day after day, even when it feels uncomfortable. And you have got to be able to weather the storms if you're ever going to have an opportunity to enjoy this kind of view. And I think my biggest takeaway from the entire experience, which I hope will be one of your takeaways as well, is that you don't have to be the best, fastest, strongest climber out there on the trails every day. You just have to be absolutely relentless about putting one foot in front of the other. And that is how you get to the top of a mountain. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you today. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Keep sharing your light, everybody. Keep sharing your light.
that incredible? And you know what else changes the world, Allison, is people like you inspiring all of us. We want to take another moment to thank Allison Levine for that powerful, inspiring keynote. Allison reminds us that leadership is about courage, adaptability, willingness, and being relentless to take bold action even when the path is not clear. So let's give her one big round of applause. She deserved that standing ovation. All right, before we move on to our next speaker, do you like my shirt? Yeah, you like it? Well, it could be yours if you get loud enough. Our sales team members around the room are ready to throw out some swag to the most energetic people in the crowd. There we go. So let's get loud. Who wants a shirt? Got a lot of people here who want a shirt. Wow. You guys are too good. There we go. Still going. We got plenty of swag. Who got one? Who wants one? You hear them? They're still out there. Look at that. Wow, you guys are good. You guys really want these shirts. We're about to cause an earthquake in Anaheim with this face. A few more to go. We got another one over here. Oh, that one went high. There we go. Oh, we got more. We got more, people. Keep going. Somebody's got one. There we go. That one hit the roof. Okay. Keep getting loud. Don't lose that energy. We good? All right, I think that's it. I think we exhausted the swag guns. All right, if you didn't get your hands on one right now, remember you can still pick up your own swag in the Experience Center in Hall A. Man, you guys have a lot of energy out there. All right, on to our next speaker. He is Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Lifewave. He has extensive experience leading marketing and branding for large organizations, and he's here to cover a variety of projects he's been working on just for you. I want to hear you get just as loud for the shirts for him. Please welcome Wayne Moorhead.
Wasn't Allison amazing? Allison, thank you so much for your determination and for inspiring us all. You having fun? Still a few more hours to go? Okay, well now we're going to ease into it. I'm kind of the take a breath moment, slow things down for just a second. But hopefully it's exciting, but you know, my delivery is a little bit of a palate cleanser. So hopefully we'll all be okay. Well, it is an honor to be here with you at this event and to feel the spirit and the passion that you have for the Lifewave brand and its mission. Coming together at this event last year was my first Lifewave event. I thought that was the best event I had ever been to, and now I know this one as well. But when we come to an event like this, it reminds me of this incredible global community that we are all a part of, and the incredible impact that each and every one of you are happening around the world. This company, as we all know, was founded on innovation, on reimagining what is possible, and then bringing those new possibilities and those new potentials to light. And this light is at the very heart of Lifewave and all that we do. From our light-centered technology to our people-centered business model, direct selling, that we are deeply and proudly and fiercely committed to. This same light extends to our global community and to each of you that lights the way for others. Therefore, our brand is also a reflection of this light, and it has to continually evolve and innovate to encompass all of the new technologies that David introduces, the new categories that he extends us into, and the new audiences that Lifewave reaches. And just as David never stands still, the brand can never stand still as well. And it needs to grow to reflect the new future that Lifewave and David are continually creating. Ooh, can you go back one slide? Sorry, I got trigger happy there. So I want to take just a few minutes and talk a little bit about the Lifewave brand and some of the work that we're doing in the marketing department and the sales department to help be your partners in sharing the Lifewave brand. One thing we're all very aware of is that our world today is crowded with brands, and only a very few of those brands stand out. If we stop and think about it, most of them lack any real emotional connection, any real meaning. They try to follow. They take a Me Too approach. They try to draft off the equity of other brands and other brand awareness. The brands, though, that break out and break through do so for a reason. So let's take a step back and talk about, just for a few moments, the concept of brand itself. I've found that it is one of the most confusing and convoluted and misused concepts in the world of business and marketing today. And it's really because brand doesn't just mean one thing. It's not your logo. It's not a tagline. It's not your latest campaign. It's actually all of it. Your brand encompasses everything about your company, from your reputation and purpose to products, packaging, messaging, positioning, servicing, and so much more. And all of these come together, and the end result is one thing. It's that place in our minds and in our hearts where the brand lives. So, based on this understanding, how are brands built? They are built through experiences, by making sure that every experience and every interaction at every touch point is unique, memorable, and meaningful. And without a doubt, of all the interactions that anyone will ever have with the Lifewave brand, the most impactful brand experience they will ever have is when they meet you. When they feel your passion, hear your personal story with the products, hear about the business that you have built and the lives that you have touched with Lifewave. Thank you. And when they hear those stories, they also feel that light that's inside of you. So it's not just marketing, but it's the entire Lifewave corporate team that are your partners in building the Lifewave brand. From customer service to legal to finance to shipping to logistics to business intelligence, all of us help work together to move this vision and this brand forward. Thank you to the one person in the back. Well, as we all know, we're very blessed to have a founder that is continually innovating and keeping us at the very forefront of wellness and human potential. And in my time at Lifewave, I've learned that David doesn't think in terms of boundaries. He doesn't think in terms of constraints. He really only thinks in terms of impact. And I think you heard that in some of what he said this morning and in some of the discussion he and I had today. These technologies and his product roadmap stretch across categories, across segments, to have an incredible global impact. And this is why the Lifewave brand is so unique and needs to be just as innovative, simply to keep up with David and the innovations and the Lifewave vision. Absolutely. So the brand needs to be both fixed and flexible at the same time. It needs to be, on one hand, deeply rooted in the great heritage and legacy that has been built, while allowing for the new possibilities and the new futures that Lifewave has created. And it has to have the freedom to extend authentically into any category that David's innovations bring us into. And at the heart of all of this, and at the heart of the brand, is light. With this in mind, we have been refining the core building blocks of the brand, how it's defined, how it's expressed, and how it supports our leadership position in today's marketplace. So this has been a super extensive process of looking back on the incredible 21-year history that Lifewave has created and considering the future that Lifewave is creating tomorrow. So what does all that work kind of look like? I love a good model. So it looks kind of like this. So obviously starting with the reason that David created the company, the brand purpose, and then moving out to other areas and key brand statements, defining the verbal, defining the visual, and then how it gets expressed across campaigns, across websites and touch points. So let's take just a moment and look at some of the defining building blocks of the Lifewave brand. And like all breakthrough brands, certain associations will immediately come to mind. So I'm sure if I were to ask any of you to raise your hand, I'm almost positive at least one, if not all of these, would come to mind. So when we stop and think about the Lifewave brand, we need to think light. We need to think innovation. When we think about Lifewave, we think pioneer. We think human potential. We think wellness. And we think proven. Did you love the 200 patent video? Incredible. And of course, with all of us in this room, we can't forget the most important element. We think community. So do you all agree? Is this what would come to mind if someone said, describe Lifewave to me? Okay, let's take a look now at how this is expressed through some of those key brand statements that serve as both anchors and guideposts that guide all that we do in marketing and supporting you. So let's jump in first. The brand purpose. This is the reason the company exists, the difference that it's trying to make in the world. And this is something that we're all familiar with. It is this: to empower people to live long, live well, we can all say it together, and live young. This is something that David and Meredith remind us of daily. This is the drum that they beat into every meeting that we have and every time they speak and inspire us. And when we hear these words and we see those words in the lobby, it reminds us why we're here. So next, let's move into brand positioning. So this is the brand's defining point of difference. This is the one thing that any brand does better, or that position that it owns more than any other brand. It's that one spot in your mind. So if you think about all the innovations that David is creating, it's not just one product, it's not just one category. He's extending us all the way into the future. The roadmap is incredible, several years into the future. So we are the Life Technology Company. We're a company that introduces technologies that elevate and extend our lives in many different ways. Let's jump into mission for a second. So this is how we will achieve the purpose. So this builds on purpose. And that is, we light the way with innovations in life technology that reimagine the future of human possibility. empowering people to take control of their well-being, their livelihood, and their longevity. So each word, yeah, I love it too. Is that a mission you can get behind? Is that the mission that we're taking to the world? So this wasn't just something we whiteboarded quickly. Each and every word, working with David, working with Meredith, working with the rest of the team there, each word was scrutinized and carefully considered and holds deep meaning and importance. Now let's look at how this builds on kind of a short brand story, how this wraps up into a little bit more of kind of an elevator pitch, a little bit more of a longer description. So, Lifewave is a transformative technology company that enhances the light within each person to deliver life-changing results. We harness the body's natural energy to reverse aging and unlock human potential, while holding true to our values of exceptional product standards, leading with integrity and tireless dedication to the greater good, empowering people to take control of their well-being. We are a global community of innovators and entrepreneurs dedicated to illuminating a future of limitless possibilities. And finally, let's end on our anthem, Be the Light. This is our call to action for those that want to live in the light of a company that never stops innovating for the betterment of human health and possibility. Again, I ask, does this sound like us? Is this the mission that we are all taking to the world? Okay, so now let's take a quick look at how all of this comes together and informs our Lifewave brand style. And if you watch closely, you can see some of the exciting brand initiatives that we're working on right now and that we'll be rolling out over the next year. From new PR and social campaigns to new platforms and programs that will help drive awareness, firmly establishing our leadership position as one of the most impactful brands in the world today. Let's let the video roll. So you're carrying David's vision and the Lifewave brand around the world. We are one of the few breakthrough brands. We are a movement built on connection and powered by light. And we are proud to be your partners in bringing the Lifewave brand to the world. Thank you. And if you thought that was cool, you're going to love the next segment. So now, to speak more about another exciting product launch, I would like to welcome back to the stage our founder, David Schmidt. Well, David, I think I might get seasick if I continue to watch this, so. Yeah, it's amazing. Well, I'm lucky twice today in that I get to do my favorite thing, which is talk more product with you and learn about products from the person that actually is inventing it and bringing it forward. So today we're gonna, at this point, gonna shift into Cellergize Evening. And I know, do we all have a lot of questions about Cellergize Evening? So I want to start out with a question. So the Lifewave patches provide so many incredible lifestyle benefits. what in your mind really drove the move into nutritional products from the patch benefits into the needs from nutrition?
Of our company, we've wanted to emphasize the importance of proper nutrition, proper health, proper diet. And over the years, we've always recommended different types of health supplements for people that have been suffering from different types of health conditions. And this is something, of course, that we've done on Lifewave Connect to say, okay, if you are using the glutathione patch, you should be taking an N-acetylcysteine supplement to make sure that you have the precursor to make glutathione. So we've made these recommendations for years. So it seemed just to make sense that if we were going to offer a nutrition line or nutritional products, which our community has asked for many times over the years, that we should do this in such a way that it would be completely unique to Lifewave and complementary to our patch products.
Absolutely. Continuing with that portfolio design philosophy of making sure that they're all connected, providing all the needs that we have. So was there a personal kind of aha moment or problem that you were trying to solve beyond just bringing that into the portfolio?
So the answer is a little bit different for the morning formula versus the evening formula. So the morning formula was specifically designed to pair up with any of our Lifewave patches. So the idea was that regardless of which patch you would use, that if you use the morning formula, you have the nutrition that you need to take best advantage of that specific patch. On the evening formula, though, the design methodology was a little bit different. The type of things that I was thinking about is what are the type of environments that people are sleeping in today. We're being bombarded by Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. People are watching their computer screens, their cell phones. And so now today people are having a very difficult time relaxing and falling asleep. So we obviously have products like Eon for stress reduction, which works great for sleep, or of course Silent Nights and Alavita. So the idea was that let's put together this evening formula to help people get into a state of relaxation that will optimize the effects of one of the patches that they would use for sleep. So that's why we included nutrients like magnesium, taurine, nattokinase for improving circulation. But the evening formula has many health benefits beyond just simply relaxation.
It does, and it's been incredible to see through tests, through some of the sampling, a lot of the incredible stories come in from people who have been using this new Cellergize evening. We've heard amazing stories about Cellergize morning. And to that point, you took a really interesting approach. You know, instead of developing just one product that kind of does it all, you really divided it up into the morning and evening. Can you talk about the strategy behind that, and do our bodies have different nutritional needs throughout the day?
Yeah, speaking specifically about the evening formula, magnesium is absolutely critical. So we find most people, if you look at the studies, about 60% of the population has a magnesium deficiency. So that's a good place to start. And we know that there are easily over 300 different biochemical pathways that depend upon magnesium. When people are under heightened degrees of stress, it takes a toll on their body's levels of magnesium. And in addition, it's very difficult to build up the body's levels of magnesium if someone has a deficiency. So let's say that you have a very poor diet, you haven't been supplementing with magnesium before, it could actually take up to 9 months before you balance out your body's magnesium levels. So this is why it's so critically important to have this in the diet. And magnesium is going to help induce a state of relaxation in the nervous system. In addition, in the evening formula, the type of things to think about are what would be some ancillary benefits. So for example, taurine was an important inclusion, not only because it helps relax the nervous system, but it also has some significant anti-aging benefits. We find taurine located in the heart, in the brain, and as people age, the body's levels of taurine start to decline. So there's some very interesting research that we've been looking into, as well as other researchers, on the longevity benefits of taurine. So those are some examples. Nattokinase seems at first maybe an unusual nutrient to include in this. But the reason, which I guess we haven't ever talked about before, but I'll share it now. And we don't have any of our lawyers in the audience. So
we made sure Doug didn't come. We made sure Doug didn't come.
Yeah, so nattokinase, of course, is very powerful when it comes to circulation. Meredith just gave me the evil eye, I can say it.
She's here representing Doug, I think.
Yeah. But if you look at this formula, we're obviously not going to be making this claim, but if you look at the literature, and you and I have talked about this on Lifewave Connect, because cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer, in addition to providing a formula that could help people sleep, there was the opportunity there to help people with heart disease and provide them with a product that could address a lot of these concerns. So for example, taurine is more effective than pharmaceuticals at reducing blood pressure. Nattokinase also reduces blood pressure and actually can remove blood clots from the body. Nattokinase will also dissolve the spike protein, which we'll probably get exposed to again in the future. Magnesium is known to help to manage healthy blood pressure levels, and L-theanine also reduces blood pressure. So when we easily could have marketed this as a formula for blood pressure management, but I think we're pretty safe marketing this for improving sleep, which of course is the principal benefit anyway.
Yeah, you mentioned, thank you for that. You spoke a little bit about this today, and I know you'll be touching on it also tomorrow, but can you talk about, in our general health and wellness, the importance of sleep, getting rest for the body, the impact that it has, or the lack thereof?
Yeah, so we had done a study on silent nights a number of years ago with Dr. Norm Shealy, and we worked with people that were only getting about 4 hours of sleep per night. And we wanted to see if with silent nights, we could increase the amount of sleep and the quality of sleep and get them into a normal range, which we did. We were able to bump that up from 4.5 hours to over 6 hours of sleep per evening. And when we're looking at longevity effects, not only that we want to improve quality of life, but we also want to improve longevity, 80% of anabolic metabolism is going to occur in the evening when we're asleep. So this is the time, of course, when our body is going to repair, when we're going to be balancing and optimizing our hormones. And so if we're not getting at least a minimum of 6 hours of sleep, for most people, some people can function perfectly fine with less sleep than that. But let's say we certainly want to shoot for 7-8 hours of sleep, and certainly no less than 6 hours of sleep. If we don't get enough sleep, it's going to have an adverse effect on the health of our immune system and make us more susceptible to disease. So there's a whole host of quality of life benefits. And then in addition, we know that if people aren't getting enough sleep, that they'll tend to resort to stimulants during the day, and then they get in that vicious cycle of requiring caffeine, which produces an enormous amount of oxidative stress on the cells. So I'll be speaking a little bit about that tomorrow relative to how some people use caffeine as a pre-workout and what some of the pros and cons of that would be. So quality of sleep absolutely affects every single facet of our lives, and if we don't have an active program to improve sleep, we're going to have a negative impact on our longevity.
Yeah, it's amazing. One of the things I learned from you, I think more than anything about sleep, was just its importance on your overall health. You know, we hear, hey, make sure you get 6 to 8 hours of sleep, and I think it almost becomes the one that we compromise the fastest. That, you know, hey, well, let's make sure that we're eating right. Let's make sure we're getting our exercise in. Let's make sure we're taking, you know, our Celergise and using the patches. And then we feel somehow that there's some flexibility with the sleep, but it can have such a huge impact and consequences if we don't really get enough. So can you talk a little bit about the research and development process that you went through? Number of iterations, number of years. What did it take to get to Celergise Evening and then also the Celergise Morning?
Yeah, wasn't too bad.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too
All
bad.
right, I guess we're done.
Yeah, you know, I've been reading books on nutrition since I was fairly young, and have been, actually, you know, I might as well tell this story
Yeah,
because
please.
I think it's well worth it. The reason I became interested in nutrition was that I had terrible allergies when I was 11, 12 years old. And so my parents had me on medication. I had allergies for maybe 6 months out of the year, and I was tired and fatigued all the time. And I thought there has to be a natural way to solve this. And so at about 12 years old, I began reading everything that I could on nutrition, what was state of the art at the time, and just trying all different natural methods, different supplements. And then eventually I finally found out for myself that the combination of vitamin C and vitamin B5 formed cortisone in the adrenal cortex, and that acted as a natural antihistamine. And so I've been allergy-free now for the majority of my life, you know, 45 years. And then, you know, once I realized that I didn't have to take medication and I could take vitamins that would get rid of my allergies and that I felt great, I thought, okay, I need to continue researching this, and let's see, I was always been very interested in longevity. So when the opportunity came up to put together formulas to match with the patches, again, the methodology was, well, first, for years we've been recommending different nutrients to go with different patches. So for example, on our carnosine patch, we find the principal amino acid which rate restricts formation of carnosine as the amino acid alanine, and beta-alanine is the preferred form because that converts over to carnosine more efficiently than just L-alanine. And we find in diets that meat is the principal source of alanine, and so if people aren't consuming meat, they may not be able to make enough carnosine. So putting together the formula was, the morning formula was really a matter of looking at each patch and saying, okay, what are the precursors to the patch and what nutrients do we need to include in the morning formula to cover all the patches. And then again, on the evening formula, the methodology was quite a bit different. Let's use this to promote a sense of relaxation, an anti-aging effect, and might as well also design it, include enough of each ingredient that people that have high blood pressure could look at a healthy way of managing their blood pressure. So that was the thinking.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. So from a timing standpoint, when is the ideal time to take this in the evening? Is it at bedtime? Is it 2 hours before? Is it 3 hours before? When do you take it to get the optimal rest and relaxation?
Yeah, so this, of course, is going to greatly be dependent on the individual. So by the nature of that question, let's say we're assuming somebody works 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, what have you. And when we are thinking about sleep, this should be something that we're planning out. What that means is if we want to have the best quality of sleep possible, optimize our hormones, optimize our energy levels, we do need to think about what are the conditions of the room that we're in? Are we making sure that we're screening out light so that we're not keeping ourselves awake? Not to eat a heavy meal an hour before going to bed, because that could interfere with the quality of sleep. So because this formula is, it's not like taking melatonin 5 minutes before going to bed. An hour or 2 hours before going to sleep is fine. So maybe about 1 hour before going to sleep, people will feel they're going into a state of relaxation, and then they can go off to bed. So I would certainly experiment with the timing, but starting about 1 hour before sleep is a good place to start.
So as it relates to the X2O and the light enhanced water, you mentioned that some people do kind of get a little bit of an energy kick. So if you're gonna, with your glass in the day, do you want to take Solargize Evening with that water as well? Do you want to save that for the morning formula, just in case you're one of those people that get the kick later in the day, or is this something you have to experiment with as well on your own?
Well, there's actually two interesting sides to the argument here, because first, I would say a safe bet would be to take the morning formula with X2O, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, what have you. And because we've definitely seen in studies and in real life and practice that X2O is very stimulating and will improve energy and metabolism. Now, the other side to this, if you want to try putting the evening formula in X2O, there's an interesting argument to be made for this, because what we would say is X2O, because it has a reduced surface tension, would drive the nutrients in the evening formula into the cell and make it more effective. But there is the risk that it will be too stimulating and it could keep someone awake. So that's up to the individual to try, but being conservative, staying with X2O in the morning is safer.
Gotcha, thank you. So, yes, please, thank you. So, are there any of the Lifewave patches that you feel that the Solargize Evening pairs most effectively or well with?
I'm going to be covering this tomorrow.
Let's save it
and
for tomorrow.
Going through the lifestyle program of how do you take. So what we're going to do tomorrow, this is a teaser now, is we're going to be taking all of the information that we've been presenting it today and putting it into a daily program. So if you're wondering, how do I use all of this information in my daily life, I'll be spending time tomorrow and we'll explain hour by hour how exactly you do that. So there are some patches such as Eon, Silent Nights, Alavita that are go-to for evening use, but then there's some others that are iffy. So for example, let's say we wanted to use the glutathione patch in the evening. I can't make a medical claim as to why you would do this. Okay, I'll use this example. I never travel without the glutathione patches. They've saved my life a few times. But let's say on an occasion like this, where we're up on stage a lot, we're speaking a lot, you can put the glutathione patch on your throat in the evening, and that will help soothe the throat, if you get my meaning. And it tends to be very effective. Under normal conditions, though, you might not want to use the glutathione patch in the evening because it does facilitate detoxification, and some people may wake up with a headache the next day. Carnosine is another one that's interesting. Anytime that I've tried to use carnosine, my body is asleep, but my mind is awake the entire night. So some people sleep very well with carnosine, but it's generally not something we would recommend, but that's up to the individual.
So with just a minute or so left, how do you feel Solargize Evening sets the stage for what's next for Lifewave, where it's going, and what are you most excited about with getting this product to market?
Funny you should ask. So I don't want to say too much about this, but historically, my favorite segment that we do each year at Global Conference is coming up tomorrow. And this is where I get an opportunity to show you all what the future looks like. You're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at You're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at what we're developing. And I'm just going to say this. You're going to see one of our future products. And I happen to have the opportunity this summer when we were in Switzerland with our leaders to show them this concept. Well, it's beyond a concept. It's actually something we have working in the lab now. But David Jumper made the comment when he saw this product. He said, I could build an entire multi-billion-dollar business off this one product. So you're going to get a chance to see that tomorrow.
Well, David, we can't wait to learn more about that. We're so excited for the information that you're going to share with us again tomorrow on how we can live healthier and better lives. Thank you for bringing another incredible product to market. I know we're all excited to learn more. It's available in the store today if you haven't tried it yet. Also in your registration kits, David was kind enough to give samples. So thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. A pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the science of synergy, going beyond simple supplements, a combination of natural nutrition and cutting-edge technology to boost cellular wellness. Specially formulated to work synergistically with Lifewave's patented patch technology. Cellergize evening. Power down, rest easy. Be the light. Lifewave.
You're almost done with me. I promise this is the last segment. Then you won't see me again the rest of convention. No, I'll be sitting right there. I just meant I'm not going to be on stage again. I'm sorry, but you can find me right there. But anyhow, but I'm really excited to share another project that we've been working on based on an incredible partnership that we know is going to be an incredible tool to help you build your Lifewave business, to help you bring more people in as brand partners and as customers, to get them onboarded, to help them enroll, to help them find the products that they need. So let's go back for just 1 second. So as I mentioned, and you'll kind of see the theme throughout today with a lot of what I talk about is around innovation. And I've been fortunate to learn so much about the innovation process from working here at Lifewave and from watching David work. And another one of the lessons that I've learned is that to have an innovation scale across a company, scale across a community, and scale around the world, a few critical elements need to come together. And those are namely 3 things: products, platforms, and partners. We need innovative products that deliver real change and real results. We already have that, right? Check. We've checked that box. Okay. We need platforms that help enable us to connect and communicate. And we need partners that help us deliver the value to the end user. So we've already heard from David on a couple amazing products today. We get to hear more tomorrow. But I'm excited just for the next few minutes to discuss those other 2 elements, the platform and partnership. And the one that I'm going to talk about today has its genesis on a project that has been going for about a year. Jim Caldwell, as you know, had been working on this really cool avatar project. The sales and marketing team had been working on a new app, and also serendipitously introduced to an incredible company called NowSight, which is one of the most innovative and AI-driven companies today. So you ready to jump into it? Okay. Okay. So if you only remember one thing from this presentation, we hope it's this, that what we're gonna show you is the easiest and most powerful tool ever to help you grow and manage your Lifewave business. And even if you don't like technology or find it a little bit frustrating, how many of us are that? Okay, a few. Probably a little scared to raise your hand, but that's okay. We're all friends here, it's fine. In fact, if you find technology frustrated, you don't use it a lot, this is so easy, it's almost as if it was specifically designed for you. But first, I'm going to start with a couple simple questions here. How many of us want to grow our Lifewave business? Okay, let's try another one. How many of us want more leads? Okay, let's try another one. Raise your hand if you want a streamlined enrollment. Whoa, okay. That one, the noise meter, that one was a little higher than I thought it might be. Okay. Okay, all right, last question. Raise your hand if you want to keep your team members starting strong on their Lifewave journey. Okay, well, this new app was specially designed to help you do three main things: prospect, enroll, and onboard in ways that you've never seen before. Introducing Lifewave Now. Lifewave Now is the ultimate AI-powered sales system customized for Lifewave brand partners and powered by our friends at NowSite. This is the most powerful AI in the industry that you've ever seen. We guarantee that it's going to do things. I was absolutely blown away as we dug in on what an incredible tool this is. The AI has been trained on all things Lifewave and customized to guide you to the activities that can help you grow your business the most. So let's focus on one of the main needs, one of the main pain points, one of the main frustrations. Let's talk about growing our social presence. How many of us want to grow our social presence? Okay, one more. Okay, so instead of endless lists and cold emails, you can start building a list of potential customers and team members in literally 2 clicks. Even if you don't use social media for your business, you're going to be amazed at how easy and fast this is. Okay, so you see these 3 colored boxes at the top. Okay, so those are the 1, 2, 3 of this app. Super simple. So after you sign up, the AI is going to ask you a few questions about yourself just to get to know you. What are your interests? What are your goals? It's even going to get to know your personal writing style. And it takes less than 2 minutes for it to understand and get familiarized with you. The first thing you're going to do is click that button there, Grow My Social Presence. And there's a beautiful pink button there that's called the Surprise Me. One of the coolest features I think I've ever seen. Okay, so in just 2 clicks, okay, so you see this right here. So you click on Surprise Me. Let's go ahead. Okay, I'm going to read this now. It's going to write an authentic post in my voice, in my style, about my interest. So this is just a sample. It says, ever notice how music can make a day better, whether it's classic rock, like last night, whether it's a chill playlist? I find the right tune fuels my creativity and helps me unwind. What is your go-to playlist to set the mood, to share your and go ahead and share your favorite playlist below. So besides the stuttering, that sounds almost exactly like me. Okay, so what do I do then? This is instantly optimized. You can see along the top there, above the photo, it's instantly optimized for Facebook or any other social platform you want to post. So with just 1 click, now it's automatically optimized for Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you like to post the most. Go ahead and click. And it's there on any of the platforms. And these stats are absolutely amazing. So users that consistently use this tool see on average a 132% increase in posts, likes, and comments in the first 30 days. And once you start posting and getting more likes and followers and comments, the next step, that step 2 up there in the box, is to turn that engagement into leads for your Lifewave business. So let's jump. So you go ahead, let's click Generate Leads. we're going to do posts about our business as we generate leads. We've already trained the AI to know everything about the Lifewave business and products. Pretty cool. So if I want to post about X39, I go over to the drop down here, I select the product X39. We've also added dozens of assets, of images, of photos, which you can use in your posts. So I just picked one here with one click, generate, and the post is ready. And here's what the post says. Ready to unlock your full potential for your day? Imagine boosting your energy and vitality with just a touch. Technology and wellness are literally at your fingertips. Could it get any cooler? Let's thrive together. Now, I've got a professional post about X39 that is all ready. But when it comes to posting about Lifewave, we always need to remember, even though Doug's not here and Meredith is representing, we know that it's important to follow the rules. So we thought it would probably be a great idea to have NowSite help build a friendly compliance assistant. So check this out. Okay, to show you, I've created a post that I'm sure I would probably get fired for if I went and posted it. And legal definitely would not be happy with me. So let's take a look at this. Okay, here's an example. So this is just my, again, terribly fake post. I kind of want to say that again like 10 times so everybody hears me. This is a fake post. Okay, breakthrough alert. Throw away your pain meds. With Lifewave X39, you'll never feel pain again. This patch cures blah, 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 blah. Okay, keep going. All right, so solid 12 out of 10 on the non-compliance scale, maybe 100 out of 10 on the non-compliance scale. But with just one click on compliance check, you see the button right there, which is trained on all of our policies and procedures and compliance rules. Look what it does. Okay, this is not what any of us want to get, okay? So very high risk. It analyzes the post immediately, and it's telling me that I have messed up on product claims, on deceptive language, guarantees, use of high-risk language. But no problem, because we have the compliance assistant here, and it's already written my post for me in a compliant way. All I have to do is click that button once. So let's check it out. Now it's fixed, and I can post it online with confidence. Literally that easy. Does that seem easy? Okay. And from a results factor, does it work? Absolutely. In the first month, on average, users are seeing about 80% more leads come into their business generated from their warm markets. Okay, so let's keep going. Number 3. So now the next step is to turn those leads into more customers and brand partners. So let's talk about a better way to build the contact. Okay, this part is pretty amazing. Well, let me make one quick point here. So yes, contacts are important to all of our businesses, right? Our lists, our emails, our phone numbers that we have for people, you can easily upload all of these contacts into Lifewave now from your phone. So also from Gmail, from Outlook, whatever email provider you're using, if your contacts are in any other system, you can simply upload a CSV file. Quick and easy, no big deal, import all of your contacts in. But this is what I'm really excited to show you. You guys ready? Maybe my favorite feature. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is super amazing. So one thing we all know for sure is that we hate data entry. We thought if we're going to build a great sales tool, we need to make it so that you're not sitting there writing Post-its and then typing it in and then importing it into anything. So let me explain what you're about to see, because I've never seen this anywhere else before. You can create a new contact without any data entry just by taking a photo of someone's business card, someone that you meet on the street, or their social profile, and just upload it into the Lifewave Now app. And the AI will not only load your contact, but it's also going to go research the internet, learn more about their interests, their contact information, their education, their work experience, and more. And it's going to take all that information and predict your new contact's personality so that you can tailor and personalize messages to them. You want to see an example? Okay. All right. Let's take a random person I've never met or never heard of before. I don't know. I make this Facebook post. This person name, I think it's Steve Merritt. Somebody named Steve Merritt liked one of my Facebook posts. Just kidding. I've known Steve and Gina for 20 years. Thank you for allowing us to use your. So Steve is now a lead because he clicked on one of my Facebook posts, and I want to turn him into a customer. So I took a screenshot of his LinkedIn, uploaded it to Lifewave Now, and it built an entire profile on who Steve is, instantly, in seconds. So I've learned about Steve's interests, his work experience, and based on those AI predictions, it predicts that his personality is charismatic, social, and visionary. Does that sound like Steve? I think it's pretty accurate. This is super cool and slightly scary. I think it's a little bit scary. So it's going to give me a ton of detail on Steve, how to prepare for a meeting, and so much more. And remember, I haven't done any data entry to create this yet. Okay, so let's look. Slide 32. This is going to help me reach out to Steve. I'm going to use the AI message writing assistant, and I'm just going to say, in my own words, I want to reach out to Steve about a brand new opportunity here. Now I have a ready-to-share post for Steve, specifically tailored to him. This is what it says. Hey, Steve, I've got something I think you want to see. We're jumping on a quick Zoom at 3 o'clock. Can I lock you in? I've attached a 2-minute video so you know exactly what it's about. And then, and this is really cool too, our system's going to send you a unique trackable link so that when Steve clicks on it, I know he's seen the video, and it prepares me and lets me know when to follow up with Steve. But does every lead sign up the second you send them something? Do they sometimes have questions or objections? Okay, so let's say Steve responded to me and said, thanks, but I don't think I have enough time for this business. Ouch, that hurts a little bit, Steve. No problem. We've trained the AI objection handling assistant to help you respond perfectly. So if you're ever unsure about how to respond to a message that you get from a lead, a customer, just take a screenshot of that message, upload it back to Lifewave Now in any form, email, text, message, Facebook, whatever you want, and Lifewave Now will help you respond perfectly based on Steve's interests, based on the information you know about Steve. This is what it generated for me. I get it, Steve, you're busy, and that's exactly why this caught my attention. It's designed to be simple and efficient, not something that eats up your time. Even just a few hours a week could make a huge impact. This makes it super easy to keep your prospects moving and getting to enroll as a customer and enroll as a brand partner. Is that pretty cool? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the results. 45% on average, users are going to see an increase in customer orders in just 60 days. So what if you're relatively new to Lifewave, or you haven't memorized every ingredient in every product and all of our hundreds of studies and patents? What do? If you ever have a question, it's this. This is so cool. This is, okay, I can't wait to show you this video. Okay, so now you have a Lifewave avatar. So we've trained this avatar on everything Lifewave, from products, policies, pricing, commissions, and more. It's like having a product expert, a commissions expert, a sales and marketing coach all in your pocket, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in 150 languages. Okay, do you want to test it out? Do you want to see? Okay, all right, so let's ask the avatar a few quick questions right now. So, let's get to know it first.
Hi, I'm your AI avatar. You can think of me as your full-time coach and business partner. I'm here to guide you through onboarding, help you set goals, recommend the right Lifewave products, overcome objections, close sales, and keep you updated with the latest Lifewave announcements. Whenever you need help with your business, I'm available 24/7 in over 150 languages.
Okay, so let's ask it a quick question. What are the benefits of X39?
X39 improves energy flow, supports improved exercise performance, strength and stamina, and supports overall health and well-being.
What if one of my prospects or family members or friends wants to hear it in Spanish?
X39 mejora el flujo de energía, apoya un mejor rendimiento en el ejercicio, fuerza y resistencia, y favorece la salud y el bienestar en general.
Is that helpful? Is that pretty amazing? Have you ever seen anything like that? Okay, so hopefully at this point you're already wondering how we're going to get this. Okay, I'm going to jump into the details right now. Well, this is how we're going to get started. Lifewave, working with NowSite, has negotiated an incredible deal to bring this AI platform to you, where everything you've seen today, from unlimited social posts, unlimited lead generation, unlimited customer and brand partners. Normally, it's $30 a month, $29 a month, but because you're a Lifewave brand partner, it's now only $9 a month. And for those that want more features like unlimited websites, unlimited sales funnels, instant email campaigns, the ability to create teams, you can upgrade to the marketing plan, which is normally $99 a month. But because you're a brand partner, you can get it for $19 a month. And because we're launching Lifewave now at this event, you're going to get 30 days access free to try it out, to play with all the tools, and to help it grow your business. So at the end of the session, we're going to put up a QR code. Make sure you take a photo, screenshot. You can go to lifewavenow.com. You can go out to the booth that's in the Experience Center. And the beauty is when you register, you just use your same username and password for the Lifewave for the Lifewave back office. So to share and hear more about, I didn't even share half of what this incredible tool can do. So I need some help. I'm going to bring up our President Meredith Burkich and Regional Vice President of Sales for North America, Janine Weber.
Oh my gosh, what do you think about Wayne and what he just shared? Amazing? I tell you what, I hope that you are as excited as we are right now, because this platform is going to help so many of you to ignite your businesses more than ever, ever, ever before. Because this is our goal. We know that people have lives, and this may be just a side hustle. We need to make every single step from the moment that first message is received to enrollment as fast and as compliant as physically possible, and it needs to be simple. Super, super simple. So I want to show you how this new app is going to help you get the people started in Lifeway business so quickly and so easily that they can maximize that what's coming up in compensation, the enhanced the business launch bonus. We want them to take advantage of the time frame, okay? So enrolling now through the Lifewave Now app, it will offer, again, that focused opportunity, that streamlined experience built around the flagship product that we lead with, the key to the door that opens the store, X39. And it even includes the new Advanced Plus pack that will be available next week. Next week. So, and the option to set up their initial monthly subscription order with X39 at the point of enrollment, so that they get on it and they try it, because they want to try it for at least 90 days. So you want to, right out of the gate, get them on that plan so that they can maximize the pricing. And then, in addition, the AI system is going to notify you and you and you as the enroller, as that personal sponsor, when one of your prospects completes their brand partner enrollment. It's going to let you know. It's going to reach out so that you can reach out to them
and let them know, hey, I see that you're getting started. I see that you're ready, and I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you because we're in the people business, right? And I am so pleased to announce that we will be also adding the opportunity in this app to be signing up customers, preferred customers, through the Lifewave Now app in the coming weeks as well. So just to note that once you download that QR code that we're going to have available at the end of the session, as Wayne said, and also in the Lifewave Now booth, all right, the enrollment feature itself will not be activated because obviously we're cutting over to the enhanced compensation plan next week. So the enrollment feature will not be activated until we come back online next week, early. So as a reminder, and again, this is a reminder if you haven't already heard or you didn't hear in the breakout, lifewave.com and our back office are going to go offline Sunday evening at 11 p.m. Central, because this is when we are doing our cutover. This is when we're implementing Compensation 2.0 along with all of the new and enhanced reports in your back office. And then also in Asia Pacific, we have a couple of local currencies that are going to be coming online again. So all of this is happening behind the scenes. And once your prospect enrolls as a new Lifewave brand partner, you are going to want to ensure that they are empowered with a clear pathway to do what? To maximize those first critical weeks in the business. And that is why Janine and the team, the internal team, and we've had consultants, people that are helping us to say, along with the leaders that also helped us on that, they have spent months working alongside of these teams, both internal and external, field and corporate, to do what? Develop the ideal system to help that brand new brand partner get off to a productive start. That is the goal. That is the goal of the new compensation plan also, to help put money in their pockets fast, because again, we need to increase retention. You are all working so hard to share and to patch and to care and get people signed up in the business. And we want to make sure that we maximize these moments, because we have a finite amount of time before the naysayers in their lives will talk them out of it, okay? So we want to make sure that we are supporting them so that they can win. So Janine.
Yes.
All right, let's walk them through the next component of the Lifewave Now app. Let's hear it for Janine.
Love to. Thank you, Meredith. I'm excited to share what is probably my favorite part of the Lifewave Now app. Raise your hand if you are new to Lifewave or new to direct selling. New-ish. Okay, that's not a lot of you. Okay, who remembers being new? Put your hand in the air. Everybody. Everybody remembers being new, right? Because when you're new, things can be a little overwhelming from time to time, right? Until now. So today we're launching the new business launch system, a simple pathway that helps you know exactly what to focus on when you get started. The onboarding experience inside of the Lifewave Now app is sales system agnostic, meaning it doesn't interfere with your team's existing tools or systems. It simply helps every new enrollee get up to speed with the core Lifewave essentials like products, the comp plan, and compliance. Your Lifewave coach in the app will guide you step by step as you learn what to say and do to launch your business. It starts with business launch activities that are mostly one-time onboarding tasks for new brand partners. So it starts, of course, with a video welcoming them to Lifewave. Then it goes into find your why, set goals, top ways to earn, know your products, know what to say, and get connected. Each task has a short video guiding your new brand partner and links out to additional resources. The last module encourages them to connect with their enroller, that's you, with their team, and with our headquarters resources, so they really know that they've got a community around them ready to help support their new journey. Once those one-time onboarding items are complete, your new brand partner will move into our new Light the Way success system. These are the core activities that they'll do over and over again throughout their Lifewave career. They're the business building activities that you do every day to help you grow and develop your network of people.
So the L in light stands for list your people. You know when you start this business, you need a big list of people, but you also know that revisiting the list and adding to the list every single day or week is vital to steady, consistent growth. Next, the I in light is invite them to connect. You all know that this is a relationship business, and we want new brand partners to understand that connection sets up the best foundation for sharing the opportunities with Lifewave, both the products and the business. The G in light is give them value. We know successful brand partners listen for a need from their prospects, right? Less talking, more listening. Then give them something of value as a solution. Value could be time with you, right? Meet, chat through the options. It could be answering their questions or through giving resources related to their need. The H in light is help them enroll. Walking a prospect through the options to be part of our Lifewave community by sharing the basics of becoming a brand partner. And maybe the business isn't for them just at this exact moment in time. One day it will be. You can also, of course, then share customer options. And last, track your success. This is a critical step, right? It's important that this is on repeat on a regular basis to stay organized on where every prospect is in the funnel, focused on the repetition of the success system activities to reach their goals. The Light the Way success system makes daily activity simple and duplicable, a rhythm anyone can follow. Plus, new brand partners will have access to our learning hub to round out their onboarding experience. Together, these new systems will help you duplicate, retain, and grow your team members like never before. It's all delivered and guided through your AI avatar, and Lifewave, get this, is the first direct selling company to create an AI-guided onboarding experience.
Woo! Of course we are. Wayne?
So in addition to everything that Janine just showed you, brand partners also are going to have access to a resource library with all of this great ready-to-share content. So let's go through. Shareable products, business content, all available in all of the language in whatever respective market that you're registered in, that you're signing in from. Again, remember, the AI can help translate into 150 languages 24/7.
Yes, that's applause-worthy.
Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Wayne. All right, well, over the years, we have seen a lot of tools come. We have seen a lot of tools go. And some have made an impact, and others have barely moved the needle. But this one's different. And what's the best part of all? This is a global tool. Unlike the app that we have had over the last year that was only available in the United States, this is a global tool available to brand partners in each and every market, and you can start downloading and exploring it today. Today. I've never seen a system this intuitive. I've never seen a system this powerful or this effective at helping people prospect, enroll, and onboard seamlessly in multiple languages. So to learn more and to get your own version of Lifewave now, come visit the app, come visit it in the store, in the booth, I should say, in the experience center where it is, because this is a system that you've been waiting for to create momentum in your Lifewave business, and the future, my dear friends and community, is now.
Guests with him today, including Meredith Burkage. Now, do not forget to make it to the Experience Center in Hall A to learn more about this amazing new app. David and Jim are ready to get out here and reveal tonight's musical guests, as well as set the stage for your exclusive Code of Creation screening. But first, I have a few reminders. While you are in the Experience Center learning about the app, check out the Lifewave branded gear and make your product purchases. If you're a new senior director and above, your awards can be picked up in there as well. We love to see you carry your awards across the stage, so make sure to pick them up before 1:30 if you are being recognized tomorrow. 1:30, well, that was earlier in the day, but you get it. Go pick up your awards. You'll be back here in the morning. Doors open at 7:30 a.m. and the session will begin at 8:30. Tonight, doors to Hall D open at 6 p.m. Red carpet for SPDs will begin at 6:30. And give yourself enough time to go through security just like you did to enter this room. Please also be aware that security will enforce a strict no recording policy during the screening tonight. And now, to close out our first day of general sessions, welcome back founder and chairman David Schmidt and Lifewave Senior Vice President of Special Projects, Jim Caldwell.
Over there.
Okay, so everybody else has had all day to get used to this in the round thing, but this is my first time, and oh my goodness. How's everybody doing? So David, it's been...
I'm going to stop you right there.
Uh-oh.
You know, since this is the last segment that we have, we can have a little bit of fun with it. I'm going off script, by the way. He doesn't know I'm going to do this.
Uh-oh.
Jim has been with us now in the Lifewave family for 20 years.
And what a thrill.
And Jim, I just wanted to personally thank you for all the hard work, energy, and fun that you've instilled into the business. And this is yet one more example of some great things that you're bringing to Lifewave. So thank you for everything that you've done over the years.
David, thank you very much. It's very kind. You know, it's always, when you think about it, so I'm a guy that works on special projects with David. And you know, working with David is usually quite a drag, you know. You know, it's pure joy. You know, he's so creative. And so here we are leading into an evening that does involve us finally screening, private screening of Code of Creation. Are you ready for it? And you know, David, this goes back like, gosh, about 2 years. When, I don't forget if you texted me or called me or something, you had this idea. He has a few ideas. and take us back. What were you thinking that you kind of shared with me that you thought, hey, I think there's a story here?
Yeah, you know, it was the way that everything unfolded over the period of a few years. And well, actually, it went back even further than that. So in the late 2000s, I became very interested in stem cell research, and this is how we were going to be directing the research team because I knew that stem cell medicine, regenerative science was going to be the future. So let's create technology and invest into that, which resulted in over 70 patents in the field of regenerative medicine. And as things began to unfold and we saw that we could use this technology for mobilizing stem cells, improving the rate at which people heal, then the idea was, well, we're just one step away now from applying this into a new method for stopping and reversing human aging. So now let's shift over and look at species that don't age and learn some things from that. So the kind of the aha moment, if you will, on when I realized we needed to have a film to tell this story was when it was a few months after about making the basic discovery of this living biological code that I found the same mathematical information in the Bible.
By chance, during Bible study, you made this discovery.
This was during Bible study. This wasn't something I was out looking for.
Right.
This was something that happened, you know, divine intervention. And I thought, okay, there is a much bigger story here, because now this is going very far beyond just this goal of stopping and reversing human aging. This is evidence that what we see in the world around us was created, that it didn't just simply happen by accident, that we can see God's hand in nature. And that's the story that we wanted to tell.
Yeah, and as he, think about it, he described this to me, and I'm trying to process and absorb what he's saying. And in the end, it turned out to be this interesting story, about the confluence of science, nature, and the Bible. And wow, what a story. And so then we said, well, we talked about how the heck are we going to do this? We need to bring in someone who's been there, done that. And so we were fortunate enough to be introduced to Mickey Willis and his Elevate Films folks, who are fantastic. Later on tonight, we'll help you, we'll show you how we were introduced to him and that we got to know him. And over time, we all, had a mind meld, basically. And of course, Mickey, with his genius creative skills with his team, he continually has been refining and building and adjusting and changing as we've all kind of looked at it, right? And finally got to the point we said, pencils down, done, fantastic. So it's like that. So finally tonight, you get to see what's really been a darn near 18, 20-month effort, and we're darned excited about it. Yeah, we are.
And I'm glad they're not seeing the first version. Because
yeah, right.
the version that you're going to see tonight is version 7.
Actually, version 8.
Version 8. So maybe I haven't seen version 8. But no, we've had to go through this process. When I saw the first version with Christina, we looked at it, and special effects are not there, B-roll is not there, there's some narration missing. We're sitting in front of a blank screen at portions of it. And when we got to the end, I looked at my wife and I said, honey, I'm not really sure I know what this movie's about. And I'm in it.
Yeah.
So when you and I went back to Mickey, Mickey said, we just wanted to give you an idea of the direction we're going in. It's going to be much better than this. And then, which it was. And then each progressive version kept getting better and better, and you could see the story unfold into what it is today. So he did a phenomenal job.
But that was the beauty of the collaborative process. We all respected each other, we listened to each other, we worked through concepts and ideas, and we landed on something that we believe is quite powerful. So tonight, you'll have that opportunity. Special invited guests that have earned the right will walk down the red carpet. We're going to have paparazzi and cameras, and we're going to kind of give you a little bit of a Hollywood experience during that time. And then, of course, after the program, we're going to have 6 cameras in the back of the hallway set up so that there might be a few of you that want to tell us what you thought of the movie after you've seen it. So we're going to be pleased if a few hundred of you come on back there and patiently stand in line and give us maybe only 15 or 20-second sound bites. Fast, next. What do you want to say? Next. So we want to kind of move through a lot of folks and get this series, this like assembly line of reactions to the movie. So that's going to be a kick in the head, I think. Just one more element that makes tonight really special.
Yeah. Now, this is a good opportunity to remind everyone why we're doing this project in the first place. So,
purpose. Yeah.
Jim, as being our global VP of special projects, what he and I brainstorm and think about are how can we build upon the brand awareness of Lifewave? How can we get the Lifewave name out there? So the thinking behind this is not only do we want to tell what we believe is a very compelling story, and people need to know about this, but this is not going to be a film that's just going to simply sit on our website or in the back office. The goal of this is to hopefully expose millions of people to Lifewave that have never heard of Lifewave before. So what we're doing is continually investing back into network marketing, back into the company. We believe in the future of the channel, and I personally believe, I've discussed this with Meredith many, many times, that because of AI apps, that we're about to see the biggest growth in our industry ever. So we want to do everything we can to support the growth of our company. So this is a vehicle by which we're going to expose people to Lifewave all over the world. And this is not a commercial that you're going to be watching for X2O or for Lifewave. This is much more of a documentary, so people become familiar with who we are through a non-selling environment.
And there will be a lead generation component to it by definition of what he just said. So, and we're going to be careful about that. We're going to think it through and make sure that we have a very productive and powerful method for gathering the leads, qualifying the leads perhaps, and then having them available in a manner and a system that makes sense to us on our side before we unveil it to you. Similarly, the release plan for, well, where's this going to air? Is this going to be on Netflix? How are you going to do this? Well, that is going to be developed now over the next few months, because since it just was finished, the folks that would be involved in releasing the movie haven't even seen it yet. So we're going to show it to them, so they want to make sure they know what it's about. We might tweak it still, you never know, to make sure that it's really prepared, and then we take it out. And there's a variety of different ways in which we can expose the movie that isn't the typical, oh, I'm going to see it on Netflix. There's many other ways in which we can expose the movie, and we're going to research all of that.
Absolutely, and that's coming very soon now. And before we cut out, you and I are going to be back on stage tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
And we have a special surprise that we've been keeping secret.
Now, you better not tell them anything.
I'm not going to tell them anything. Just what I am going to say to them is, you need to be back here tomorrow, because Jim and I have had a special project we've been working on for just less than a year. We finished it up in August, and it is awesome. And this is going to be a way, I kid you not, that we can get millions of people to hear about Lifewave in a really fun and interesting way. So that is being unveiled tomorrow.
Yeah. That'll be around 10:30, 10:45 in the morning, so this place better be packed, because we think it's going to be a very cool moment. But you never know. Hope you like it. So now tonight, we've teased we have some kind of a musical guest. Does anybody in this room know who it is? If you do, don't yell it out. We've kept it a secret, I think.
This is going to be the first time we've ever had a conference that we've not had not one, not two, but 3 Grammy Award-winning artists performing.
Yeah. If I can take 60 seconds. So think about this. David always wants the corporate staff, the executives, to be way out in front. For instance, planning for this event. You might say, well, they must have started planning this maybe 4 or 5 months ago. No. How about 15 months ago we started? So we have a bias toward being very much out in the future of what we need to be on top of. So I bumped into this artist on Facebook, and I looked at this, and I was just completely out of my mind, because as a kid, I used to sing barbershop harmony. I love harmonies. My 2 brothers are out here, by the way. Guys, come on up, let's sing a number. Just kidding. No, so we love harmony. So this fellow is pure magic with what he's able to do with harmony. And so I went down the rabbit hole, learned all about him, and I came running to David. David, we got to book this guy before he gets booked. He's available now. Remember? And you were like going, I'm sorry, Jim, who is this guy?
I didn't say that, but in any case, You're in for a real treat tonight. So we're going to have this gentleman perform. You'll walk down the red carpet, you have this gentleman perform, and then you get to see Code of Creation. So it's going to be an awesome night.
So if the folks in the back are ready, would you like to know who it is?
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Jacob Collier.
Somebody to tell me where to go. And I don't want to be traveling.
And the Grammy goes to Jacob Collier.
My name is Jacob. How you doing?
Jacob always surprises me.
This guy can make us sound better.
He can't help but explore.
Jacob Collier is a musician, he's a multi-instrumentalist, songwriter, arranger, everything in between.
He's from another planet.
I promise you've never seen this before.